Unlike fanny packs, bowl cuts, and troll dolls, the sensation is back, only at Zaxby's. The Sensation Salad and the new Sensation Filet Sandwich features hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, and both are served with an egg roll. The Sensation Salad and the new Sensation Filet Sandwich meal for a limited time only at Zaxby's. And skip the line when you order ahead on the Zaxby's app or on Zaxby's.com.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up.
WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! Welcome into it. It's Wake Up War Chant presented by Zaxby's. I'm Aslan Hajavandi alongside Corey Clark. We are part of the WarChant.com family. Use the promo code WarChant30 if you're not a member of the Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. You get a whole bunch of cool perks. You can read all of Ira's cool stuff, all of Corey's cool stuff, Michael Langston's recruiting news, Gene's insight, and, you know, the Tribal Council. You can leave the questions at Renegade Express. We did it yesterday. Hope you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your Thursday as we head into Friday, Corey?
You know, I did. It was pretty laid back. Wrote a story on Harlon Barnett and what he had to say at before Thursday's practice. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. Good day, good Thursday. Feels like I'm getting a little more amped up and excited to see what we got to see on Saturday.
Yeah. Also, we're going to do over-unders because it is Friday, and thanks to our good friends at Zaxby's, it's now going to be a giveaway. So our top 5 contestants. And we're also going to open it up to Twitter as well. So tweet at us at Wake Up War Chant. And this is all I want you folks to do. We're going to give you 6 of these propositions, or maybe it's 7. However many it is, just number it 1 to 6. All I want is an O or a U. I don't need to know what the actual thing was. Just number 1, O. Number 2, U. That way I can actually probably sift through this stuff in a meaningful time. But we're going to give away maybe some T-shirts later as the season winds down. But as of now, a free meal to area Zaxby's here in Tallahassee. So to our subscribers and listeners outside the pocket of the Big Bend, sorry. Maybe keep them, give them to a friend in the area as a stocking stuffer, or just gives you another reason to come to Tallahassee to watch a football game in lovely Doak Campbell Stadium under 101-degree sunny sky. Right, Corey?
Can't wait for that. Can't wait. Well, at least I'll be in the – and I'll tell you guys, I'll be honest with you, the AC in Doak in the press box, pretty darn chilly. I might – and this isn't a joke, although it sounds like it with the tone of my voice. I might have to pack like a sweater or a sweatshirt. That's how cold it gets up there.
It's not. It wasn't that bad for
It's
Boise.
crazy. It was 62 degrees in the press box. I looked at it
That's not Hauser, though.
on Saturday after the game.
Hauser is obscene. Doak is a little bit below that. Hauser is just the worst. Hauser's so cold.
So, guys, just think about what we have to go through if you're sitting in the 106-degree heat on the metal bleachers. Think about what we're having to go in the press box. It's a little chilly.
Yeah. I don't know what the best meal would be to prepare yourself to head into Doak, but something probably robust, perhaps a chicken finger box, perhaps the Southern TLC filet sandwich, or the Sensation Salad, which is still going over at Zaxby's. Try all that stuff out, folks. One of them, you won't be disappointed. Zaxby's, indescribably good. Corey, before we get to the over-unders, I did want to mention something about Harlon Barnett. You mentioned you did a story about him, and I was thinking about this while I was at the gym in terms of when you asked questions about my dating life earlier in the week, where it wasn't a criticism. It was advice I think you were giving me about if you're going to talk about these young ladies, button it up at the end with, despite all that, still a lovely human being, still a lovely soul, good human being, et cetera, right?
Right, correct.
I feel like I don't know if I should say we. I feel like you maybe, or you're totally like that when we start criticizing. Well, not me criticizing, but maybe when we get the questions from the subscribers or the listeners, or maybe even myself, when we'll talk about Willie not doing well or Harlon not doing well, and they got to do better, or there's going to be X, Y, and Z kind of fallout. And you always kind of pivot to, we're rooting for him. I love Willie. He's a great guy. He's really super nice to us. And then we say the same thing about Harlon. Harlon, though, for real, there's something, he has some sort of, somebody said compassion. I don't know if that's the right adjective to use, but there's a certain way that he does communicate to us, and you can kind of tell this has been maybe a painstaking last couple days for him. But there is a sort of, I don't know, there's a humanity to him that does make you feel like, please get this thing turned around, not only for the betterment of Florida State, but for your career as well. So, now I have more empathy when you talk about these, button everything up with, end it on a good note. Despite all that, hope it works out, good person. A lot of people don't want to hear that right now, though, Corey, but I think it's still important sometimes, right?
Well, and when you're covering a program that's 5-8 in its last 13 and whatever it is, 10-14 in its last 24 against real teams, it's so negative. It's so much negativity, especially the Willie Taggart era so far. They're 5-8. What's their best win? Wake. I mean, they just that was their best loss probably on Saturday, and it was a gut punch. So I think that when you're so negative, it is easy to just, if you listen to us every day, it might sound like we can't stand these guys, that we're just picking on them to pick on them. And it's like, well, no, we're talking about what we see and what may be the direction of the program, certainly the current status of the program, but that doesn't mean we don't like them as people. And that I always want to separate that for some reason, because sometimes the criticism can turn from, it can sound like in a person's ear that we're not just criticizing the job this person's doing, we're criticizing the person. And I would never do that with Willie Taggart, and certainly not Harlon Barnett either. That guy, you're right, man. Just, I wasn't there on Thursday. I watched the video that you got up lightning quick. Man, he is genuine, and it is really easy to root for him, and you do root for him. So, anyway, that's one of the things where I think these coaches, like, that don't get to talk, like maybe Charles Kelly, when we talked to him, seemed like maybe the nicest person. Just a really nice guy. But everybody had so much disdain and vitriol for the guy because of the job he had on the field and the fact that they never got to know him as a person. Now, it doesn't matter. You got to win games, and you got to not give up 620 yards for people to really like you. But still, I think when you see those videos of Harlon Barnett, you're like, man, turn this around, dude. Turn this around, because we want to cheer you. You're a good dude, and you should be a part of this program if you can get this thing turned around, because you're a nice person. I think that matters a little bit, right? Maybe not much, 0.5%, but it should matter a little bit.
Well said, Corey.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Let's go ahead. Let's pivot to the over-unders again. Leave your replies in the thread on the Tribal Council. Also tweet at Wake Up War Chant. I'll actually tweet these out, and you can reply to it. That would be the best. Yeah, reply to the tweet that I'm going to put out there. Again, there's 7 of them. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just give me the letter. Give me the O. Give me the U. That's all I need to see. By the way, Amstaff Knoll, a longtime listener of the program, you went, I think, like 6 for 6 last week, which is great, but there were 7 of them. So make sure you do one for every single line that we put out there. And again, the top 5 winners will get a free meal gift card to use at an area Zaxby's here in Tallahassee. Also, Douglas, Georgia, Thomasville, Georgia, and Marianna, Florida are also locations that you can use this gift card at. Corey, I'm one up, so I'm just going to let you go first all the time and just pick whatever you're saying.
I see. You're the home team.
So I'm just going to ride this out all year. Whatever you say, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to win the entire season by one singular one. So let's start here. These all come from the Williams Sportsbook in lovely Tallahassee, Florida. WilliamsSportsbook.com. Check them out. That's a joke, by the way. It's really not a website. It's Gene coming up with this. Thanks, Gene. Tackles by Hamza Nasruddin, Corey. 8.5 over, under.
Under. I don't think he's going to be on the field so much this game. The hope. That's my reasoning, is that maybe they get a lead and he doesn't have to play 85 snaps.
All right. Well, I'm going to go against my strategy already. I'm going to say over. I think he's just he's going to find the ball. He just has a nose for the ball, as they say. Is that in the analytics? Is that in the data?
Sure. And what do you get the impression there's a chance he might go back to linebacker?
I've tried to ask Willie and Harlon that this week. A poor job of it. It doesn't really sound like it. They both just.
But they're not completely disregarding it either.
No, they're not.
So I think maybe if he somehow moves to linebacker for Saturday, I should be able to amend my answer.
Okay. Well,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, I think that should be that should be taken off the board. Anyway, on to the next one.
Well, Harlon did mention that he's so versatile that I think there was some stuff that even against Boise they moved him up a little closer to the line of scrimmage. He might not have been playing a true sort of free safety position with them. So I do wonder with Carlos Becker's quasi-emergence if that frees things up on the back end. But with Vontae being out, or not being out, but maybe kind of in the doghouse right now, I don't know if this will be the week to do it, but you would think maybe, put Lars Woodby back at his sort of home, bring Nasruddin up close. But I will say, obviously, this whole show is about second-guessing coaching. That's the one thing I won't kind of second-guess. I just feel like they've seen enough and they know what they want each player to perform within their role that, if Hamza was much better at linebacker, they'd put him there. Maybe it's just, they need him in the back end to be that eraser kind of guy. So, sacks, defensive sacks by Florida State, 3.5. I'm going to say...
I thought I went first.
Well, I'm not going to be... You want to go first all the time? I was just kind of joking around with you there.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Sacks, 3.5. They return their entire starting offensive line. If not, it's 4/5. But golly, they got to be more aggressive and bring pressure. I guess I'll take the over. I'll say 4. Look at me, man. I'm going really aggressive.
Yeah, I'm going to say over 2. I mean, that's been a talking point all week. Harlon Barnett said on Thursday that, we got to bring more pressure. We got to be more aggressive. Obviously, Willie's been saying that for the whole week. So it would be a bad look if you're going to bring all this pressure and change up the defense and show how much more aggressive you're going to be on third down and then get less than 3 sacks or less than 4 sacks, I guess. So I think they'll get over 3.5.
Louisiana Monroe first downs, Corey Clark. Follow him on Twitter, Corey with an E _Clark. 19 of them. Do the Warhawks get more or less? Or maybe push? Although we're just going to do over under you and I. We're not going to do
we can't do pushing. I'm going to say over.
Ooh. Man, 19. How many? What did boys have? 36?
38. 38, my man.
That would make sense. I like that, Gene. Halving it.
Yeah.
Can they have it? 19 first downs. You got an experienced quarterback, experienced offensive line. I guess I'll probably take the over as well. I almost want to take the under. I'm really bullish on the Noles. The attendance, the announced attendance, Corey, 62,500. I'm going to say under. I don't even think they'll have the audacity to say that.
Under.
Yeah.
No chance.
And this isn't us shaming you folks. It's hot out there. We get it.
Crazy hot. And I don't blame anyone that does. I mean, again, I said it yesterday. I'll keep saying it. If you want to think about your fans and safety, having them sit out in 108-degree heat and have those players out there in 108-degree heat where they don't have those ice-cold trailers that they can go walk into doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're thinking about safety. But if there's lightning 9 miles away, 2 miles up in the sky, if there's any detection at all anywhere in the panhandle, they got to go into the locker room for their safety, but not for heat exhaustion possibilities. Anyway, it's going to be hotter. It's going to be hotter this game than it was against Boise. So I understand if anybody's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to watch the Texas A&M Clemson game. I'm not telling you to do that. I don't want you to do that, but I'm certainly not going to criticize you if you do.
Folks, speaking of the heat, how nice is this? Doug Manheimer, crypt keeper, I guess you can say, of the Sod Cemetery. They're going to kick off their 6th season of the FSU Sod Cemetery. Sod Talk, that is, rather. It's been around for 58 years, of Sod Cemetery, but Sod Talk, which happens 90 minutes before kickoff of every home game, will start its 6th season, and it's going to have a lot of folks from the most recent FSU Hall of Fame class, including this Mark Martin guy from the Mike Martin.
Mike Martin. I believe he's a senior.
Okay,
I believe he has a son that's also in the sport somewhere.
Hey, his son's got them working early in the morning. They're behind Willie. You can hear them in Hauser grunting and throwing weighted medicine balls against the floor and the wall. New day at Hauser Stadium.
New day, baby. New day. Dawn of a new era.
Yeah, chill out with that meat. Let the kids sleep. It's September.
Yeah, they're baseball players. They're not supposed to be getting up before noon.
Good grief. If you were a manager, Corey, and your starting pitcher, say you got like a doubleheader, would you let your starting pitcher come to the ballpark like an hour before or like 2 hours before the game, or would you make him be there for the first game the entire time?
No, and what's funny about that is I remember I wouldn't. Just get there whenever you feel comfortable. If you're a professional anyway. Maybe if you're a high school kid, no, you're going to be here with your team. But if you're a major league manager, yeah, I trust my guy to know how to get right for it. In the 92 playoffs, the Braves were playing the Pirates in Game 6. It was the game before the Sid Bream game. Mm-hmm. So they're getting blown out in Game 6, and like the 6th inning, they're losing 11-0. So everybody knows, okay, there's going to be a Game 7. So John Smoltz tells Bobby Cox, man, I want to go home and get rest. He's like, okay, leave. And so Smoltz left in like game 6 or inning 6 or inning 5 of game 6 and then pitched the next day. So, yeah, I think you trust these guys to know what they're doing. I trust my pitcher.
All right. Back to the over-unders. Again, top 5 responses, winners, whatever we're going to say, the top 5 high score. I don't even know how to say it. We'll get free gift card for a meal, Zaxby's, here in the Tallahassee area. Also Thomasville, Georgia, Marietta, and Douglas, Georgia as well. Temperature at kickoff, 97.5 degrees, Corey.
Over. And heat index, it's way over. If we're going just by strict temperature, it's going to be close, but I'm still picking the over.
Yeah, same here. Cam Akers rushing yards, 121. I will say, man, I really think he's going to give Kalen a lot of at-bats. But it's Louisiana Monroe. You should run pretty crazy. Come on, Cam. Bring it home for me. I'm going to say over.
Under.
It's over.
For the first reason you mentioned.
Just a lot of at-bats for Kalen.
Yes. Plus, I mean, I'm not convinced that this offense is going to just be able to run down the throats of anybody yet with that offensive line. And I think ULM will do whatever it takes to try to stop Cam Akers. So they might have just too many guys up at the box to do anything with it early.
I think you're going to take the lead on me. I think you're going to take the
Come
lead
on,
on
don't
me
be like that.
Man.
I might be wrong.
Total points. This is the official line. Everyone's using it. Vegas, sea to shining sea. 63.5 points, Corey. You
Under.
go first. Under? Come on, over. Hammering it.
You're going to hammer that. All
what
right.
do you got, Florida State, like 50-7? Is that where you're taking the under?
No, I'm thinking more like 38-21.
Ew.
Something like that.
That's gross.
Hey, man, until this team proves to me it can boat race a team, I'm not. It's hard for me to think that that's going to be the case. But if they hold Louisiana Monroe to 21, hey, all right, that's something.
I don't know.
I know. Hey, that's where we are right now, man. I don't like being here any more than you do.
I think they'll score in the high 40s, which means that ULM's going to have to score in the 20s or the high teens.
What I worry about genuinely when I think about this game is if they have a couple of bad possessions to start.
Yeah.
Because they
Hanging
shouldn't
around.
be. They should be pretty loose in a game like this against Louisiana Monroe when you're that much more skilled and talented. But if you have a couple bad possessions to start, then I think you start to tighten up again and you start to panic. And we saw what even against Louisiana Monroe, and we saw what happened last week when they got a little tight. So if they don't do well in their first 2 possessions, I have a feeling it's not going to be an offensive barrage at all.
Man, these are really good points you're making that they weren't even on my radar. I don't foresee them not boat racing Louisiana Monroe. I don't foresee them having a slow start offensively, but these are things that you mentioned, Cam, what if they do sell out and they're like, hey, we're going to make this Blackman kid beat us. He looked kind of shook second half, shut down the run, make them one-dimensional. And then, if they sputter in those first few drives and the 41,000 people in Doak kind of get a little bit restless and you let Monroe hanging around, and then, here we go. But no, I got a good feeling. I think they're going to – Kendall's got too much pride on the line to let this offense go bust again for a second week.
At Birch Orthodontics, they know what a difference a beautiful and healthy smile can make in your life.
They take the time to get to know you and perform a thorough exam so that they can make an individualized treatment plan just for you or your child.
They use the latest technology in a warm and comfortable environment. So whether you are interested in traditional metal or clear braces or clear aligners, they can give you the smile you deserve. They know investing in your smile means investing in your future. And at Birch Orthodontics, they are honored to be a part of your smile journey.
Serving Tallahassee for 16 years and supporting the Knolls since forever. Check them out at birchorthodontics.com. BURCH orthodontics.com. Corey, somebody did not get into the Renegade Express on time yesterday, but he is obviously a member of warchant.com. Apparently, he's been a member for a minute, and before I had my own account, I had to use my dad's, who has been a member since the days of dial-up internet. That being said, this is my first social interaction on Warchant. He's JKR Seminole 421. He's from Bogart, Georgia, which is right outside Athens, as you know, Corey.
I do.
It's the current dwelling of one of the co-founders of Zaxby's, Tony Townley, apparently, is what JKR Seminole 421 says.
Also named after Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, okay.
People don't know that.
All right, nice. He says that back in May, he actually married a Pinellas County native and Tarpon Springs High alum. That's my rival high school. Unfortunately, she's also an Alabama alumna. That's
Ooh.
okay. His question, though, Corey, and you're going to spin this into a positive as we go into the weekend here. Not a long show. We've exhausted everything to talk about, and we need to hydrate. Or that's not actually funny anymore. It really wasn't funny probably to begin with. And by now on Friday is run its course.
It's funny that you called yourself for not being funny. Yeah. So you better keep that in the show because that was funny.
I've got self-awareness and all that. His question for us, let's say we perform poorly against ULM and don't cover the spread, and then we go up to Virginia and lose by multiple scores. The inevitable hot seat conversation will begin, and everyone will be wanting to see a staff change. With all the talk about replacing a head coach and a defensive coordinator, how will this team handle the adversity? That being said, I love Willie and I want him to succeed. Thanks, guys. Go Noles.
How would they handle the adversity of the Taggart talk and hot seat talk?
Would it be any different if they beat Monroe 38-28 and then they lose to Virginia 28-10? Are we really in that much different of a space than we are right now, September 4th as we record this, or September 5th going into September 6th? I don't know.
No.
I think the people.
No, I don't think so.
Everyone's made up their mind, I feel like. If you don't think he's going to get it done, I think you're pretty steadfast in that. And if you think he needs more time, you're not going to budge, even if they lose and don't look good.
But the reality is it can't be a week-to-week scenario.
Right.
Okay, now he's a good coach. Oh, now we got to fire him again. Now he's a good coach. It's something you have to look at the end of the year. I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's why I thought the hot seat questions in Charlotte were ridiculous because you can't get fired in week 2 of your second season. You can't really even be on the hot seat. He took over a team that was 5-6 the year before he got here. It's not like he took over the 13 team and flew it into a cliff. So he's going to have time unless it completely falls off the rails. And I'm talking about 2-10 or 3-9 type falling off the rails. Other than that, whether you think he's on the hot seat or not, he isn't. They're not going to fire him for 6-6, 7-5, 8-4. That's not happening. So, I guess they'll get questions about it and there'll be talk about it. But what realistically is Florida State going to do to Willie Taggart after year 2 of say he's 6-6 this season? They're not firing him. It's not financially feasible, and some of those losses might be like the one on Saturday where you could have won. And I know people don't want to hear that, but last year you got boat raced in every loss. So if you lose 6 games and 5 of them are by a touchdown or less, well, isn't that showing some progress?
Florida State, though, there's a standard.
It's Florida
right?
State. Yeah, sure. It's a standard, but that standard was lowered before Willie Taggart got here. It had been lowered considerably. They were 3-6 the year before he got here and got beat 35-3 in Boston. So I know it's Florida State, but it wasn't the 5 years ago Florida State that he took over. And I think the people that make these decisions will realize that. Now, if he goes 6-6 this year, will he be on the hot seat, quote unquote, to start next season? Absolutely. Because they're not third year in a program, even if you took over a program that wasn't great, it was trending downwards, man, you can't afford to go be 500 again. So I don't know that the questioning say 1-2 after Virginia, man, he's lost. I mean, I don't know how many, they're going to be underdogs at Virginia. So them losing up there isn't going to be a stunner. So at this point, I think most people expect them to be 1-2. I think most people expect them to be 3-2 going into Clemson, which means they're 3-3 after 6 games. Okay, what does that mean? Is he on the hot seat after 3-3? No. Do I think he needs to win some games out to close out? Absolutely. You go 3-9, it might not be tenable to bring you back because you need people to like invest money and want to be around the program and want to come watch your team. And if you go 3-9, that's a really, really hard sell. But we're so far away from the hot seat, right? Like the hot seat talk. Let's see where we are in November.
I don't think so. No.
But that's the reactionary of being week to week. That's fandom, and that can happen. That's fine. You can be a fan and think, man, they got to get rid of him. But you don't make those decisions. We're on the sidelines.
But I think the people who are so heavily financially invested in the success of this program don't like to see their money go to a program that's going to miss a bowl game for a second straight year or lose to Florida for another year and Miami. I just – again, these are things when we can forecast and say 6-6, you're fine, you're home free. But when it happens, 6-6 means that they're going to have 5 more bad weeks, 5 more grumpy Sunday mornings, potentially involving losing to obnoxious Miami fans and Florida fans. I think those sort of things add up.
I don't disagree. I think my point more was it's ridiculous in September to talk like that. Unless they lose, if they lose to Louisiana Monroe, then absolutely. You've got a real problem on your hands.
Oh, that's not going to happen, though. But yeah, that's your point, though. It needs to go really off the rails for this to be an adult conversation. As of right now, it's just a bunch of upset people.
It's upset, but okay, what if he goes and beats Virginia? Are you going to jump back on board? I saw it all the time with Hamilton.
Right.
It was, oh, God, we got to get somebody else. We can't coach into the game. We're always good enough just to lose by 3 or whatever the complaints were. Or he's got all this talent and they've missed the tournament for 4 years. Well, now they've made it 3 years in a row. And those people that wanted him fired after the Beasley season look like dum-dums. So there is a chance that people that want him fired after one game in his second season are going to look like dum-dums at the end of this season or at the end of 2020. I'm not saying that's possible. I'm not saying that's probable, but it's possible. You would think Florida State fans, after seeing what happened to the basketball program, would realize that the reactionary game to game, loss to loss, he sucks, he's great, he sucks, he's great. It's just not. Let's just reassess at the end of the year. If in November they go to Gainesville, they lose by 30 again, and they finish 4-8, absolutely the seat is scorching hot, and he might not be around. I don't know that I don't know that would happen, but it's certainly a possibility. But that's 11 games from now.
Yeah.
So they might be good in November, Aslan. There's a chance, right?
And then they're going to be good on Saturday. What was your final score prediction on that, by the way?
I think I said, whatever I said, 38-21.
Okay.
I think that seems about right.
I'm going to say 48-17. That's 64, so that does get me on the over. So, all right, I'm going to feel good on that. And one last thing I want to ask you, maybe, I don't know if 90 seconds is probably not enough for you to answer it, but I do wonder if there's some sort of, if it doesn't work out the way that everyone thinks it should with the offense and everything, does Willie maybe start getting more, okay, really was a bad situation? Like if Kendall can't get this offense fixed and rolling, will it be, okay, maybe we really undervalued or realized, if that's not even a term, but just we failed to grasp just how bad it was? Or will it be a piling on of, well, if Kendall Browse can't even fix this thing, then Willie can't get out of his own way, kind of a thing?
Well, are you saying will it be Willie saying this, or other people saying this about his?
What do you think the narrative will be? Will it be if the offense continues to struggle? Will it be one of those things where people say like, "Dang, okay, maybe Jimbo left this thing a complete scorching dumpster fire that could be smelled from a continent away," or will it be even with $1 million coordinator, he's not implementing the right mindset and approach to get this team back on track?
Oh, well, the narrative will definitely be the latter. It'll be that he's just not – it'll be on Taggart. Whether that's the reality or not, that'll certainly be the narrative. I mean, realistic people understand what Willie was left at quarterback and, most importantly, what he was left at offensive line. Not great at either position, and that's being kind. But, yeah, man, it's also year 2. And, the Jimbo excuse, and I don't like to use the word excuse because that sounds like it's not real. That offensive line was a train wreck. It was awful. And their best guys that they had last year, the only really good player they had who couldn't stay healthy, is now at Alabama. So the offensive line was a real problem that Willie took over, an awful problem. Maybe the worst position group of any Power 5 team. That's a huge deal. But year 2, I don't know that people are going to be giving Willie that much benefit of the doubt with that. If they end up limping for the rest of the season and finishing poorly and not being good on offense, being just mediocre again, the reality is, yes, much of that has to do with Jimbo and Rick Trickett's offensive line evaluation, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody's going to say, yeah, well, that's fine. We understand, Willie. Just try to get better. The narrative, I think, would definitely be, man, it doesn't matter who we pay $1 million for the number one coordinator available in the country, and they're still only averaging 26 a game or 29 a game or whatever it ends up. They're still only 65th in the country in offense. What does he need? That would be more the narrative, I think.
All right.
Fair or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
think Landon Dickerson graded out as the number 2 offensive lineman for Alabama. But, hey, let's go on a high note. Corey, as we approach a really hot Saturday, I mean, we both took the over on the kickoff temperature at 97.5. We think it's going to be hotter than that. It's going to be a big weekend of football. Death Valley going to be rocking. Jimbo coming to town to take on the defending champs. Tom Herman, Ed Orgeron having to go play the guy that was going to have his job but apparently turned it down. Lots of interpersonal dynamics. What is the way to handle these tense moments in the weekends, the heat, just life in general? How would you attack it in the coming days?
I mean, I would hydrate.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.